In the Nevada desert, a town is squaring off against an $18.4 billion data center. And the fight over who gets a say is spreading from packed hearing rooms to federal courtrooms. All the way to Washington. Communities are pushing back, judges are stepping in, and a $250 billion bet is about to redraw the map of American computing. In Pahrump, Nevada, a desert town an hour west of Las Vegas, residents packed the county commission chambers this weekend to confront a project most of them only recently learned about, the Manse Technology Campus, formerly known as Project Blackjack, would put an $18.4 billion, roughly 900-acre data center development on the edge of their community. County officials billed the Saturday town hall as a chance to ask questions. But the mood in the room was unmistakable. A clear majority stood opposed. And one worry came up again and again. Water. This is the Mojave Desert, where every gallon is spoken for. Developers say construction would not start until 2027, pending approvals, and county leaders face a critical vote as soon as August. That demand for a real public process is now being enforced by federal judges. In Wilmington, Ohio, U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Hopkins ordered the city to redo 3 ordinances tied to Amazon's $4 billion data center project, covering generator noise, rezoning, and data centers as a permitted land use. Homeowners sued after the council passed those measures without the notice Ohio law requires. 30 days of published notice ahead of public hearings, plus written notice mailed to neighboring property owners at least 20 days in advance. Until the city runs that process properly, it cannot act on Amazon's site plan. Wilmington's council now plans 3 fresh public hearings, this time with the public actually in the room. And when the public does get in the room, it can change outcomes. In El Segundo, California, developer 8 Form wanted to tear down a 15-year-old Hyatt Place hotel and replace it with a data center. Residents turned out for a contentious planning commission hearing that stretched 3 hours, hammering one issue above all: the project's enormous appetite for electricity on a grid that is already strained. By the time the hearing closed, the application had been withdrawn entirely. No lawsuit, no moratorium, just a room full of neighbors who showed up and made their case. It is a reminder that in the data center boom, the most powerful permitting document in America may still be a sign-in sheet at City Hall. But in Washington, the rules about who gets heard may be about to change. The Environmental Protection Agency is proposing to hand states the power to decide how much notice and how much input residents receive on so-called minor source air permits. That category covers concrete plants and rock crushers. But it increasingly includes the massive diesel backup generators that data centers install by the dozens. The agency held a public hearing on the proposal Wednesday, and written comments are due August 21. Supporters call it streamlining. Critics, including the Sierra Club, say it would effectively eliminate the public from the permitting process for the fastest-growing industrial build-out in the country, at exactly the moment communities are demanding more say, not less. Water is driving the same demands in America's heartland. In Columbus, Ohio, one of the fastest-growing data center markets in the nation, city council members are being pressed to hold data centers accountable or ban them outright. Officials are now weighing a regulatory framework that would include water conservation requirements and force developers to fund their own infrastructure rather than passing costs on to residents. Central Ohio has become a magnet for hyperscale projects, and residents packed recent meetings demanding a moratorium. City leaders have not gone that far yet, but the message from the council chamber was clear. The era of no questions asked approvals in Ohio's capital is coming to an end. And water is at the center of the reckoning. Some governments are simply hitting the reset button. In Charles County, Maryland, commissioners scrapped a proposed zoning text amendment that would have opened parts of the county to data center development. Instead of pushing the plan through, they directed staff to come back with a framework for a task force, an outside consultant to run technical analysis and public outreach, and a plan to wait for further guidance from the state. It is a full restart, and a telling one, after watching neighboring counties adopt moratoriums and 2-year pauses. Charles County chose to slow down before the first shovel hits the ground, rather than fight it out in court afterward. In this market, patience has become its own kind of policy. Yet despite all that friction, construction ambitions keep getting bigger and showing up in unexpected places. In Russell, Kentucky, Rubix Data Centers is proposing a campus worth $8 to $12 billion at the site of the former AK steel mill on the Ohio River. The plan calls for up to 2 gigawatts of computing capacity, enough to consume more than 10% of Kentucky's entire peak summer electricity production, plus an estimated 55 million gallons of water every year. For a steel town that lost its anchor employer, the pitch is jobs and a second industrial life. For the region's grid and its river, it would be a transformation on a scale Appalachia has rarely seen. And the financial commitment behind this build-out has reached numbers with no precedent. The Wall Street Journal reports NVIDIA is in talks to guarantee roughly $250 billion in financing for OpenAI, a backstop that would help the ChatGPT maker lease a 10-gigawatt campus that SoftBank's energy arm is developing in southern Ohio. Counting the chips inside, the total project could exceed $500 billion, and NVIDIA is separately discussing financing up to $350 billion of OpenAI's chip purchases. The first phase, around 800 megawatts, is targeted for 2028. The talks are early and could still collapse, but the fact they are happening at all tells you exactly where this industry believes it is headed. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment. It helps us cover more of these stories.